Let's get to Roddy's top 5 takeaways. Mahomes and Josh Allen. I feel like we could start nowhere besides that. This next generation of quarterbacks, those two continue to show how special they can be.
Brother, let me tell you something. I had an opportunity to play against some really, really great special quarterbacks. Steve Young, John Elway, Kurt Warner, Peyton Manning, the list goes on. You can go back, Dan Marino, all those guys, man. And what we saw on Sunday, what we were able to witness, the greatness of these two young guys. And think about it, man, these guys are in their low 20s. These guys are 20-something years old out there competing on the highest level. Like, we talk about competition and the spirit of competition, but imagine those two guys were the two best players on the planet at their respective positions. And that's something special, man. Not a lot of people can say that. And to see them out there competing, see them out there going toe-to-toe. And Josh Allen is an absolute dog. Let me tell you something. I was so disappointed in that defense. And look, I'm a Patriot, but I respect the heck out of the Buffalo Bills, and I respect the heck. But you talk about Josh Allen, when they need it most, what is he going to do? He's putting his body on the line. 6'5", 240, 250. He gets it done. I mean, he could do everything. Look at that little sidearm pass right to Cole Beasley. This dude deserved to be in the Super Bowl, and because of that defense, because of some stupid mistakes and them playing a bend but don't break mentality with Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott, this guy is not playing for the AFC Championship. The way he played, he deserved to be in the championship game. And if I'm Josh Allen, I am absolutely sick to my stomach right now because they deserve to be in this game.
Those were some of the most amazing scramble plays that I've seen in forever. I mean, he's making the best defenders on that Kansas City defense, Melvin Ingram, maybe it's Clark on another play. He's just making them miss, right? He's making them miss and he's scrambling, and then he makes the next guy miss, and then he's setting his feet and he's ripping a throw. I mean, how about that 2-point conversion where he's buying 6 extra seconds and then throwing a missile to the back of the end zone? It's amazing. So then when you flip it to the other side of things and you got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Grim Reaper that Patrick Mahomes could be, I mean, there's 13 seconds remaining on that clock. They left 13 seconds. It flashes me back to that Bengals game where they're going, forget it. On 4th and 1, we're going for it. We're not giving Mahomes any chance to get the football back. You see why? Because with 13 seconds, he can do that kind of damage.
Yeah, with 13 seconds defensively, if I'm the defensive coordinator, what I'm telling my guys is, hey, we're going to play a soft coverage. We're going to play a soft coverage, right? First of all, I'm not kicking the ball to these guys, but if I do, we're not going to play a soft coverage. We're going to get up. We're going to jam these guys around the 30-yard line. And who gives them that much space? You can't give them. That's an extra 18 yards. Now, all of a sudden, you have Kelsey down here. You're playing soft coverage. You don't touch him. You don't jam him. You got to slow him down, and then it sets up the winning field goal. I don't know for the life of me. This is the #1 defense in the National Football League, and this is something you practice damn near every day. You practice this situation almost every day. And for the Buffalo Bills to play such a soft, conservative approach. Leslie Frazier, you've been around the game. You were with my 85 Super Bowl Bears. Like, I respect you, but you cannot play defense soft in that situation. You got to get up. You got to jam those guys. You got to throw them off their route. You got to jam them, slow them down, an extra 2 or 3 seconds run off the clock. But you cannot just let Patrick Mahomes drop back, let these guys run down the field unencumbered. You don't touch them, and then all of a sudden, now you're at home watching the freaking AFC Championship game coming up this weekend. It's terrible, Jack.
For Josh Allen, because he had just won the game time and time again. Just one impossible drive after impossible drive, and they always ask him to do it all himself, and he just kept doing it all himself. And even just watching him over there on the sideline, the look on his face was just like he just couldn't believe that they couldn't give him one chance. I'll tell you what else was really cool, Rod, for me, was listening to Travis Kelce. They did the mic'd up thing, right? Had him mic'd up that whole final drive, and his leadership talking to Patrick Mahomes going, hey, first of all, they had to hit that play to Tyreek Hill, right? They had hit the screen that set up the next play to Kelce to put him in range. He tells Tyreek, hey, Tyreek, start outside and then come back under me. It'll give you an ability to get more space. Boom, boom, Tyreek gets all the yards. Next play, he goes and tells Mahomes, if they're playing this coverage, that seam's going to be wide open. And you can hear Patrick Mahomes right before the snap go, hey, Kelsey, do it. If you listen close to that game copy, Kelsey, do it. Once he do that seam, they put it right on the money. So to see the leadership, we talk a ton about Patrick Mahomes and what he means from that quarterback spot, because he does. But to see Kelsey in the communication and understanding of defenses, that's why this guy's so wide open. It's why he's Patrick Mahomes' best friend.
Well, that's why this offense works, because you just can't be a guy in this offense. They push you mentally to know every position. They push you mentally to know why they're doing certain things, why they're trying to set up, who they're trying to set up, how they're trying to set them up, all those things. And you talk about Patrick Mahomes, I really, truly respect his growth, because let me tell you, like coming in, when everybody started playing that cover two, he couldn't adjust. And then finally, he really humbled himself. He took to coaching. And all Eric Bieniemy said was like, just stay patient. Just stay patient. If they're going to keep two safeties back, we're going to nickel and dime them to death. And once he bought into that, it just changed the whole mentality of him. It also changed the whole mentality of the offense. So now everyone's saying, wow, we can play cover two. We can keep them from making a big play. But they're 12 plays, 75 yards, and it's just growth, not only as a quarterback, but growth as an offense, and that's a big part of why they're having success.
And the NFL is just in such good hands for the next decade. You think of these two quarterbacks. I'm looking at the very end of that game when Patrick Mahomes, he's running past teammates, guys that are, this is one of the most insane NFL wins. If you go through the history of the league, the last 4 minutes of that game, you ain't ever going to find a finish like that. And Mahomes is running past his teammates, avoiding the celebration so that he can go give Josh Allen this hug to show him the respect of what he just did, what he forced Mahomes to overcome to get this win. It was the first thing he wanted to do was go show that respect. And that gives you some idea of not only the players, but the people that we have leading the NFL right now.
Man, let me tell you something, man. Just that competitive spirit right there, it just shows how competitive both those guys are, how much respect they have for one another, and they both understand how difficult it is to play quarterback in the National Football League. These two dudes are very similar. I'm sure Josh steals some stuff from Patrick. Patrick will steal some stuff from Josh, and these guys will be competing, like you said, for the next decade or so. So really exciting to see.
To our second takeaway, which is Deebo Samuel. You watch this game, they just ask him to do everything. And you get to see why Shanahan talks so highly about Deebo Samuel. He's playing running back, he's returning kicks, he's playing receiver. So it begs the question, is this the best playmaker in the NFL right now when you look at the versatility and things he's able to do?
I would say best and most dangerous, definitely, because, I mean, like, he's a big dude. Like, we're out there, his legs are like tree trunks, like huge legs, and this dude is fast. Like, you see him at University of South Carolina when I watch him play. You're like, okay, this dude is kind of fast. What is his 40 time? And, like, he keeps breaking tackles. Like, even against the last week, he caught it like a wide receiver hitch, made a guy miss, and went 20-something yards. It was just a hitch. Made 2 or 3 guys miss, and it went 20-something yards. So now, as a defense, you're trying to figure out, okay, where's he at? Is he at running back? Is he in slot? Is he at the wide receiver spot? How are they going to use him? So it puts a lot of pressure on the defense to try to identify him, try to figure out where he's at, and then trying to get him. But yeah, he is definitely the most dangerous because he can do it all. And he brings that physicality. He gives them their identity on the offensive side of the ball. Then you add in Trent Williams, left tackle. You add in George Kittle, and you add in Elijah Mitchell. This is why this team is so physical. This is a wide receiver running over people, running through linebackers, running through safeties, running through corners, and everybody knows he's going to get the ball. And when he gets the ball, look at his teammates blocking 10, 15 yards down the field. He's just a very special player. And when it comes contract time, he better tell them, hey, I'm not just a wide receiver. I'm a playmaker, so you're going to have to break bread, period, because you're going to have to pay me a lot of money.
Those are the facts. And when you look at what the Final Four is, it's 3 of the 4 are quarterback-driven teams, right? You got Burrow, you got Mahomes, you got Stafford, and that 4th team is just a badass, physical, beat you up, push you around San Francisco 49ers team. And it's been the kryptonite for some of these awesome offenses, right? It's been the kryptonite for the Green Bay Packers. It's been the kryptonite for the Los Angeles Rams. And it may wind up being that again. It always feels like this to me, Rod. When you get to this point in the year and it's cold weather football and these great quarterbacks, the one thing that can neutralize is the teams that can get after the passer with 4. And the way that the 49ers can just bring 4 and just make life miserable on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's back there. Sometimes he's trying to scramble. Now Bosa's got him by the ankles because he's so athletic. Those are the one kryptonite matchup that I see, and it seems like every playoff. And right now, that team to me feels like the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, you look at San Francisco, you look at the Rams, man, both of those teams have those guys. We witnessed it right there. We were first, and we're looking at Aaron Donald, we're looking at Von Miller and those guys, and just how fast they get the pass rush, how fast they break down that pocket protection. And the 49ers got some big dudes, DJ Jones up in there. Those guys are big, they're athletic. They do a great job of stunting. They get after you, man. They play physical. And those linebackers, oh my goodness, those linebackers, Asher and Fred Warner, those guys are fast, they're athletic, they're very physical. And those secondary guys, they're solid across the board. So it wouldn't surprise me if San Francisco ended up in the Super Bowl. It just wouldn't surprise me, man. This is a very physical team.
It wouldn't surprise me either. You mentioned Fred Warner, that big punch he had on Mercedes Lewis to get the ball loose. He is an instinctive linebacker, athletic. He sees it. He's so fast. It's exactly right. So let's get to our third takeaway because we just came out of Tampa, right? We were up there. We've seen the 28-3. We all know the Atlanta Falcons story. This was 27-3, and it never felt like the game was over. It just always felt like Brady would have a chance. And, of course, so many wild moments happened to where Tom Brady can crawl back into this thing. And now the question becomes after the loss, will Tom Brady play in 2022? Let's hear from TB12. This is what he said on his podcast, the TB12 podcast. I think, well, I'll clean it up. That's not the name of the podcast, the Let's Go podcast. Here's what he had to say about the potential of his future.
Well, I think the point is there's no really rush for me to figure out what's next. I'll know when I know, and it's a day after the season. So I think for all of us, we can all decompress a bit. It's been 6 straight months of football every day, consumed by day in and day out football, and I think now it's just some time to spend some time with my family and spend some time with my kids. The biggest difference now that I'm older is I have kids now too, and I care about them a lot as well. They've been my biggest supporters. My wife is my biggest supporter. It pains her to see me get hit out there. She deserves what she needs from me as a husband, and my kids deserve what they need from me as a dad. I'm going to spend some time with them and give them what they need because they've really been giving me what I need the last 6 months to do what I love to do. And, I said this a few years ago, it's what relationships are all about. It's not always what I want. It's what we want as a family. And, I'm going to spend a lot of time with them and, figure out in the future what's next.
Man, that's really well said, and it's a lot to break down. But the one thing I want to talk about is, just those times, man, are very special that you miss in the morning with your kids. Like I get a chance to wake up with my daughter and my kids, my boys, whether I fix them breakfast or drop her off at school, that's my 5 minutes, that's my 10, 15 minutes with her. And that's something that you just can't get back when you're playing football. When you're up at 5 a.m., you're walking out the house by 5:15, and they don't see you until 7, 8 o'clock at night. Those are the things that you miss, those recitals and, being able to go up to the school and see your daughter at 12 o'clock and sit down and have lunch with her. Those are the things he's talking about. You never get that back. Football is fine and dandy and it's great. But at the end of the day, you don't get that opportunity to take your wife out to lunch at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And those are very, very special moments. And Tom's not the only one sacrificing. Your family sacrifices a lot too, because everything is built around your football schedule. Everything's built around you. So what Tom is saying is basically as a husband, he's like, look, my family supported me through this entire time. Now it's time for me to spend time with them and we figure it out. And he's spot on. After football, 6 months, you have a lot of emotional things that's going on in your mind and your brain, and you need time. But if I had to say something, I do believe that Tom might give it one more shot. He might give it one more shot if I had to guess, because I know Tom doesn't really want to go out the way he went out. But I would say at the end of the day, he's going to talk it over with his family, and we'll know soon.
Yeah, you could tell for the last few years that this was going to be a group decision. And I think Tom has adapted his life the last few to make sure that he's being, having a two-pronged life, that he's spending his time with his family, prioritizing that, and he's prioritizing football. I think they wanted to come south, have a little better life, a little better weather, all those things. So I think it's been part of this new Tom Brady formula. If it were totally up to Tom, I think he would play next year. I don't think it's totally up to Tom, though, and that's why I have no clue what's going to happen. But here's to me what happened to the Bucs this year, right? Tom Brady came down to Tampa, and he built an all-star team. He built an all-star offense. They had a great defense, too. Awesome offensive line, 5 guys across the line who were just studs. And then the playmakers looked like a Pro Bowl team, right? You had AB, you had Godwin, you had Evans, you had Scotty Miller. They were so deep. You had Gronk, you had 3 talented tight ends, Brate, you name it, right? Good running backs out of the backfield that could catch all those things. And then New Orleans came to town. And they roughed this team up in ways that I didn't even know was possible. Godwin gets taken out. He's done for the season. Leonard Fournette gets hurt in that game. That game just sucked the life out of this team. And then on the heels of it, AB decides that he's just going to go nuts. So to me, that's what happened. He came down here, he built an all-star team, and it just crumbled right before the most important point of the season. So now does he want to go play GM Tom Brady and rebuild it all over again? Perhaps he does. But it's going to take a whole lot of work because my guess is Godwin probably is not going to be there anymore. AB's not going to be there. So he's going to have to get very creative if he wants to rebuild all that it was.
You said that it crumbled. Man, they just played the divisional game. They were a play away from basically being in the NFC Championship. So it didn't crumble. It's just things happen. And that's why it's so hard to, let me just say, it's very hard to repeat. What's that?
Saying they got beat pretty good in that game. I understand he put together a miracle comeback and nobody's better than Brady, but they got handled pretty darn good in the first half of that game.
Yeah, absolutely. But all I'm saying is this. They were still very competitive. The biggest thing that I saw outside of the injuries, and you're spot on, Jack. You're not wrong for what you're saying. You're spot on, actually. But one thing that I just saw complacency. I saw a team that they weren't as hungry as they were last year. They just weren't. You saw guys like Devin White doing their own thing. Antoine Whitfield came to me before the game. I went up and said, hey, what's the most important thing you got to do? He says, well, we got to protect the deep part of the field. Because, I'm like, yeah, Matthew Stafford's going to take shots down there against you guys. And what happens? They get beat for a 70-yard touchdown, by Cooper Kupp. It's those things. And to me, Tom's going to take a look at the roster. He's going to look at the defense. He's going to look at the offense and see is this something that I can come back to? Is this something that I can compete? Because he's not going anywhere else. Can we win a championship with this roster? If he believes so, I think there's a chance that he might. But at the end of the day, I know his wife is in that situation where you don't want to try to, at the end of the day, force your husband to kind of walk away from the game, even though you might feel like it's in his best interest. I think he's just going to figure it out. But at the end of the day, they better have Tom Brady, because if not, they don't really have a backup quarterback plan.
If they don't have Tom, it might be Bruce may retire. Bruce Arians may retire. I mean, it may just be the end of this run. I mean, I think we all understand. Let's get to the fourth one. And there's no special teams opinion I value more than yours, because your whole career, you wanted to play special teams. You voluntarily played special teams, even when you were a big name, Rodney Harrison. So I want to hear your opinion on what the heck happened to the Green Bay Packers and their special teams in this game. We're a game or two away from the Super Bowl.
I'm blaming Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is the head coach. And whenever your head coach comes in and he says special teams is a priority, special teams is just as important of offense and defense. When he comes in and he says that, he makes it a priority to be good on special teams, then you know you're going to have good special teams. All right. And he never made that a priority. And it came back and it bit him in the butt. And and they lost games. When we were there, they had terrible special teams, but Aaron Rodgers was so good that they were able to overcome it. The defense was really good. But in times that the offense is struggling, you need those special teams, and they have to be good, and that's Matt LaFleur's fault. He should have nipped that in the bud. And even if he's struggling as far as the coach You remove him. You replace him. You do whatever you have to do to bring them special teams up to par. And I told you this. I told you when the Chargers played against the Raiders how important special teams were and why we, as Patriots, we volunteered as starters, guys playing 65, 70 plays a game. We volunteered because we understood and knew the importance of field position, making sure that we start at the 20-yard line as opposed to the 40, 45-yard line when they only need a couple first downs and then all of a sudden they're in position to kick a field goal. Special teams, man, it just can't be offense. It can't be defense. You have to pay attention to everything. And that's his inexperience as a head coach, not emphasizing special teams.
That's right. And the mistakes were almost everywhere, right? It's the big kickoff return Deebo Samuel had right at the beginning of the third quarter. Going into halftime, they had that field goal, right? They had that field goal as well where Lancaster's playing the left wing and he prioritizes the guy coming outside and the guy going inside, who obviously has a much shorter lane to get to the kicker, he just lets him be a free runner, and they block that thing right before the end of halftime. And it's those little momentum things. I mean, this in every single way should have been a Packers win. It should have just been a slug out, drag out, Packers win, and it's about 7-3, 10-3, whatever it would have been. Garoppolo's not going to go all the way down the field and score a touchdown at the end of that game. The Packers defense was playing awesome. The one thing you couldn't have do in the fourth quarter was a blocked punt that lands on the goal line and is picked up for a touchdown. It's the one thing that you couldn't have happen, and that's how the Green Bay Packers wind up losing this thing. I just think it's such a shame, and I don't know who else you could look at besides the head coach. So let's hear from LaFleur and what he had to say after this one, because to his credit, he at least stepped up and took the blame.
Matt, it looked like you guys had 10 guys on the field for that final field goal attempt. How does that happen in that moment?
Yeah, that can't happen. It's unacceptable. Again, that's on me. Yeah, it's extremely disappointing, especially when you look at what happened tonight. Again, these are things I got to do a better job, obviously, and be more involved to make sure that those types of things don't happen, that we're putting these guys in the right position, that we're coaching them the right way. And I mean, ultimately, it all falls on me.
Incorrect. It does fall on him because he's the head coach and he has to come in and he has to emphasize the importance of special teams. And that's why I love Coach Belichick, because he says, I don't care how many Pro Bowls, how many All-Pros you got. If we need you to play special teams, you're going to play special teams. And Matt LaFleur was so focused on the offensive side of the ball, he hired Joe Barry to take care of the defense, and he kind of just left the special teams out there floating. And he's kicking himself in the butt. That's why and that's the inexperience of Matt LaFleur. He says, well, I have to do a better job. I need to be more involved. You're damn right you need to be more involved. You are the head coach. You should be sitting in those meetings, the special teams meetings, just overlooking everything, and you should bounce your way over to the offensive side and always communicate with the defensive coordinator. But, and he understands it now. So next year, I guarantee you, he will be better in the special teams area.
I bet he will too. And it's really a fascinating thing because we've seen this youth movement of coaches, right? And even when you look at the Final Four, Zach Taylor, who the heck would have thought he's writing this thing? Kyle Shanahan is another young coach. Sean McVay, he's hired in his low 30s, right? And then you got LaFleur, who's another young coach. So there's certainly been this youth movement infused into the NFL. And I think it started with Mike Tomlin, and it worked there. And he was a defensive coach. And it's now flipped to these offensive minds to go really teach these young quarterbacks what it means to be an NFL quarterback. And it seems to be working. So why do you think these young NFL coaches are having success, despite what we're seeing with LaFleur, where inexperience can bite you? There's both sides of that coin.
Well, let's take a look at their quarterbacks. They probably got the best quarterbacks in the league too, right? Like Matt LaFleur, you have Aaron Rodgers. Zach Taylor, you had that dog in Joe Burrow. Like, come on, man. And then Matthew Stafford, he's proven that. I mean, we knew Matthew Stafford can play. We knew that he was a tough guy, but we wanted him to prove it on the big stage. He's starting to prove it on the big stage. He's got another big stage he has to prove it on. But yeah, it starts with the quarterback. Where would Matt LaFleur be right now if he had to go with Jordan Love? Where would he be? We wouldn't be saying he was coach of the year last year, or, he wouldn't be in this situation. They probably wouldn't even make the playoffs with him. But when great, it makes their job easier. And these guys have been given every opportunity, you know, and let's just put it out there. All the coaches that you named, those are young white coaches. They've been given opportunity and black coaches have not been given. And people have been patient with them. And it's not like they're going to a place that has a garbage quarterback. These guys have, you know, franchise quarterbacks. So that matters. And you see, like, you give Eric Bieniemy Joe Burrow, you give, you know, one of those, Brian Leftwich, Joe Burrow. Like, those are the type of opportunities and jobs that a lot of these black coaches need. You can't just put them on a team with no quarterback.
And that has to happen through this next coaching cycle. And I do think that there's been a bit of a shift, like Bill Belichick, right? All the Super Bowls you won with him, I'm sure he'll figure out a way to win another Super Bowl before it's all said and done. But that old style of coaching, you don't see many new coaches being hired who are have the same sort of tough way about them when they get in front of the team and lead. It's now the expectation is that they want you to be a player's coach. And I think it begins with where they are in college, right? And the transfer portal. Basically every year at the end of the season, it's like open, you know, free agency. And anybody can go anywhere. If they're not happy or they're not getting treated this way, they can transfer. And then by the time they get to the NFL, they expect that you're going to be a player's coach. And I think a guy like Sean McVay is really one of the first that I've seen really lock in on just going the respect and the friendship and the relationships that he builds with these players. It winds up resulting in them playing and giving everything right back to him. And I mean, you heard Odell Beckham Jr. talk about with Chris Sims this week how laid back of an atmosphere that he creates. It's like playing in the Pro Bowl, right? There's all these talented players, but he makes it laid back because he knows that we all know what we need to do to get ourselves ready. And so that's work. So I do think that it's really more about finding players, coaches, right? Guys that the players are going to love. And my guess is this next cycle of head coaching hires, I really hope that you see a ton of diversity because that's what it needs to be. But it results in players, coaches, right? Don't you get that sense that the players have to like you now for you to really hang on for a long period of time?
No, I get the sense that the players have to respect you, okay? Because you're not going to always make a decision that, you know, pleases everyone. But if you do what's in the best interest of the team, then the players are going to respect you. And you have to treat everybody with respect. And everybody's a little different, you know? You can't treat everybody the same. Okay, you give everyone respect, but you can't treat Tom Brady the same way you treat the 53rd guy. You just can't do that. You hold Tom Brady in a higher esteem. It's just the way it is. That's why you pay him $30 million a year. You know, McVay has been great. They've given up all these future picks and things like that, and I'm really happy for him because I do think he's a coach. I think he's very passionate. I think he's a very good coach. I think he's very knowledgeable. I think he learned so much from losing the Super Bowl to Coach Belichick, and I'm really excited to see what he comes up with. I mean, and you see the stamp of Sean McVay. Like, he's been calling some really good plays. Like, he's put them in a position offensively to have success, and the way he's incorporated Odell Beckham has been tremendous for this team.
And they're hungry, right? And we'll get to that when we start talking about this next game, but they're hungry, man. OBJ, Von Miller, Stafford, all these guys that have never, Whitworth, the left tackle, they've never tasted a Super Bowl, right? And the Bucs, they had just had it last year. So I just see them as a lot hungrier right now, and they're playing that way.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.